Not yet. Or not son. Yeah.
Yep, son.
He doesn't know his
son.
own name yet.
Dang it.
Okay,
It's my
he's,
first time.
he's just a
Yep.
mini dragon.
Yep,
Yeah.
son.
Yep, son.
Yep, son.
Thanks for filling in, yep, son.
He's sitting
Yep.
in a
Hold.
pulled seat. He's
Yeah.
upholding the seat. We're pulled.
We have referred to him previously as Peavity because he's Devity's son,
Also the
Yes.
middle son.
the middle son.
The middle one.
Our fake sponsor this week is Hipster Milk because you liked milk mustaches before they were cool.
I've got one right now.
That's gross. You haven't had milk in several days.
You're supposed
I
to
hope
wash
you don't.
yourself?
Yes, that is a crucial thing.
I disagree.
That's apropos of our nerdiculture today, but does anybody have any banter?
Yes, I've been whining recently about my lawnmower not
My
working.
lawnmower doesn't
It
work.
doesn't start. I put gas in and it doesn't go. Well,
That
I know
was the dog.
no longer have to worry about gas
Oh.
because I have purchased
That
a mower.
doesn't require
Dun, dun,
gas.
dun.
It's diesel.
That would be.
Runs on marshmallows.
Oh.
No, I run on marshmallows.
That's a lot
So
of
basically, what it
marshmallows.
does is I push it and I run on marshmallows.
Honey, can you mow the lawn? We're out of marshmallows. Oh,
So I
well,
finally are long up to the point where it's starting to seed. So I thought I should probably get a mower. So I went. I think it was on my day off.
Moon Day.
Yeah. And I went to a local big box construction store.
Moon Store.
And we looked at them at that same place the week before, but this time I went in and they were on sale.
Oh, goodness.
So I got it for way less than we had looked at it before. And I came in underneath my target budget that
Cool.
we decided on. And I got one that had all the features I wanted,
Yeah.
like not being green.
Oh.
Because I wanted to be, I don't want my mower to be pretentious and say, especially since batteries probably are worse for the environment than gasoline. But yeah, it works really good.
Well, the global environment, not your local environment.
True.
You got the exact lawnmower that I have.
Excellent. And it's still working, right?
Yeah, it works great.
So when I got it home, I checked that it has a little self-checking thing on the battery to see what your charge was. I checked it, it had 1 bar and it was flashing.
Okay.
So I stuck it on the charger and I couldn't leave it on there for more than 15 minutes. So the lawnmower died halfway through the lawn. It just stopped running.
Yeah.
Then I had to go put it back and then put the charger back on. And I left it for an hour and then that was enough charge to finish the front and then I did the backyard as well.
Nice. Yeah.
So I went over really thick stuff like in the backyard. Some of it was thick and like 12 inches tall in some spots.
Those are called saplings.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was almost to the point that you couldn't find the trampoline.
What? That's
So
long grass.
I mowed it, and someday I'll let one of the kids use it. It's fun.
And quiet.
I was actually able to put earbuds in and listen, or headphones on, and listen to a podcast at normal level while I was doing
Yeah.
it.
That's
So I'm
Good.
very happy with my purchase. It's blue, which is my favorite color.
oh.
Yes.
I still haven't figured out how to fold it correctly. I don't think it's folded like it's supposed to be,
Oh, I don't fold mine.
but there's no fluids in it, so it doesn't matter.
Yet. Oh. Just
Not
kidding.
until I run over the neighborhood bunnies.
Oh,
There's bunnies everywhere.
yeah.
But maybe it's one that when they get scared, it's like freezes. That would be bad if it's a mower coming
Oh
at it.
yeah.
If I don't see it.
Mm, Not good.
Yes, it's got a one-hand adjustment, so the starboard side aft
Mm-hmm.
wheel is a little adjusting lever, and it's got like built-in tension bars that lift the whole thing up and down.
Yeah, it's nice.
So part of my lawn is cut shorter than the rest of it, like 40 feet.
Nice.
And then I thought, oh, I should probably adjust this. And I was like, oh, it's that easy to adjust? That's great.
Cool.
I think I raised it even higher when I did the backyard.
Cool.
Because there was a lot of stuff back there. Like when I mowed right over the top of and didn't know it was there until the grass was gone, one of my metal fence posts.
Ooh.
Oh. Wow.
Yes. I've got a tendency to first time I get a new mower or move into a new place, I hit metal with the mower. So I'm glad I avoided that this time.
Yeah.
Because the deck was high enough.
Nice.
I had to empty the bag like 8 billion times though.
Yeah,
There was
I
so
bet.
much grass.
But
it's light enough and quiet enough I could do it way more often. Or now I can probably have the kids do it.
Yeah.
I really showed them how to run it.
They can take turns.
Yes.
move on to nerd culture now.
No, we're going to talk about another thing that happened.
Oh.
Clearly, I'm going to take over the whole show.
Yeah.
If Paul's not here, I just like jump right in.
That's
and I
fine,
take everything. So on Saturday, St. Jimmy came over to roll or finish his character for Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm dragging everyone into. Dungeons and Dragons, I think is what they call it. So I'm dragging people into the dragon.
Actually, I dragged you in first, but
Yes, they got me to play it. So we're sitting there, and someone knocks on the door, and Yepson needs to get trained properly that when someone comes to the door asking for his dad, if he doesn't recognize the person, and if the person's not wearing a police officer, the correct response is, "My dad's not home."
I didn't answer the door, so don't look at me.
Oh, I thought it was you.
No, it might have
So
been
did I.
Colin or my younger brother.
Oh, okay.
But it's lying.
It wasn't me. I was upstairs.
All right. Well, anyway, someone answered the door, and I talked to a very nice gentleman. Well, previously, so to set this up, my wife and I had been talking about me spending my day off getting a carpet cleaner out, cleaning some of the carpets. So this guy shows up and says they want to know they're not selling anything, is what he led with,
Right, which is a lie.
which is a lie. And then he said that they wanted to, they're trying to get their name out for their company in our area. Also kind of a lie, I think.
Right.
And they would clean one thing in my house. So I thought, well, the worst one is the carpet or the stairs.
Oh, the dog.
So I said, well, yeah, I guess you could clean my stairs. And he's like, okay, I'll have someone, the guy that's in the neighborhood, I'll have him stop by and he'll clean the stairs. I was like, okay, before we sign up for that, how long is it going to take? It's like, no, it shouldn't take more than a half hour. I was like, right. So
Another lie.
I'm waiting. I hear someone pull up by the driveway, so I look out the window, and it's a Kirby box coming out of the van. I was like, oh no. I've been experienced with these people before. Now, don't get me wrong, the product is great, but it's not. I want to tell the guy repeatedly, we looked around our house, like, obviously we don't care that much.
Mhm.
And I wanted to say also that, yes, it's cool to get rid of dirt, but my family has the ultimate protection, and that's an immune system.
Yes.
Because we're not overly concerned about it. So, but anyways, they did clean 3 stairs. They cleaned one of my front windows.
Which, did they ever come finish up?
No.
I thought not.
And he sold me on stuff, and then at a certain point, they tried to use the sales tactic, which I don't appreciate, of calling to question my honor, because, well, you said that
You said you liked it.
you like the vacuum, and you said that you don't like the dirt, and
So you're buying the vacuum.
you're buying the vacuum, right? I was like, no.
How much can I get out of you for it?
So actually, at the end, if I had purchased the last time he spoke to me, offered me one more time, I could have got it for $2,100 off of the original sales price.
Right, which is like, wow, how many people...
So if you're a guy getting a Kirby, wait till they're packed the box up and are out the door. If you really want one,
And then do a Columbo, just one more thing.
and then say accept the last offer, and you'll get it for way cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a great
Smart.
vacuum. They do a lot of stuff. It's really cool looking. It's like made out of extruded aluminum. It's really cool, but not cool enough for me to pay that much money. I don't want a payment for my vacuum more than my son's car payment.
Well, and it's not like you
Expensive.
notice how dirty your carpet is.
Well, at one point they're like, "Well, what do you? I mean, your carpet will wear out fast." I was like, "Well, this is like the cheapest carpet because we bought some that rolled at the house."
Right.
So they put the cheapest carpet in it. Like, well, don't you want it to be nice carpet for the next one? I was like,
No.
no, when I go to sell it, I'll just rip this carpet out and put the cheapest carpet back in. There, problem solved. And they looked at me kind of like,
You're evil.
and then at certain points, my wife called me and pretended to be one of my kids wanting picked up from the movies,
Oh.
which did, I think, started getting them to start wrapping it up sooner. But then after you get all this stuff out, it took us a good half hour, if not more, just to put the stuff back in the box.
Right.
Which I was impressed. I've never been able to pull something out of a box and then put it all back.
Oh.
And he did it successfully. He knew where everything went.
Well, he probably does it multiple times a day,
Yeah.
every day.
Anyway, I do
That
not.
is a job I could not do.
So the next day, that was Saturday. Sunday on the way home from church, my wife was like, we need to be out of the house at 4 o'clock. Or at least upstairs. I was like, why? So this guy talked to her about kits for like information on your kids. That sound like they're free kits. So
Okay.
that you have pictures and fingerprints of your
Oh,
kids.
in case they get kidnapped or
Right.
something. Who would want your kids?
I know. Not me. I mean, but she's like, then towards the end of the conversation, I realized there's probably a sales pitch about to happen, and he said they'd be here at 4. I was like, all right, so I packed up and went over to Mr. Pohl's house. Oh, I
Nice.
watched another movie. I can put on
Okay.
there. Final Countdown.
Okay.
And I think she just was upstairs, and everyone else in their house was upstairs. They just ignored the door.
Nice.
Did they come at 4 o'clock?
I'm not sure.
No one knows because they didn't bring down an
Yeah.
answer.
Our doorbell's broken, so
That's
Is
a
it?
trick.
yeah,
I thought it worked.
no, I
No.
don't think it works
What if
right
I
now.
broke
So.
it? So it set our dog off barking.
Oh,
Anyway, so that's my banter.
that's funny.
I don't like being sold to. In fact, I
No.
went shopping with a friend of mine. I took my friend Nate, with me car shopping because he is someone that can be very blunt and is not a nice guy like me. He's nice, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't take guff from people. So I took him car shopping, and at a certain point they tried to play that thing. Well, you said if you blah blah blah, and he's like, "You're calling Dave a liar?" All right, let's go. We just got up and walked out.
Nice.
And the guy's manager and salesman are chasing after us. We just got in the car and left.
Wow.
Oh,
It's like, thanks, Nate. I couldn't have done that by myself.
my car buying experience was really opposite of that.
They didn't want to sell you a car?
No, I arranged everything beforehand before I went there, and I got there and I was like, "Hey, I called. I'm gonna test drive this car." Okay, well, we'll have the guy bring it up. They bring it out and they go, "Oh, there's not enough gas in it," so they sent somebody to put gas in it.
Oh, when I test drove Yepsan's car, the guy's like, "Oh, there's not any gas in it. I'll be right back." He came back with $20. I stopped and put gas in it.
So you like, okay,
And then we bought it.
put
So
$5 in.
I know we bought it. So we got 20 free extra dollars of gas from the guy.
But
Nice.
I got there and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna test drive it." They gave us the key. We test drive it, come back, and they had all the paperwork ready because I was like, "Get the paperwork ready in case we want to buy it. We don't want to be there forever." And it was ready, and the whole thing didn't take very long. It was really nice.
Wow.
405 Motors in Woodinville, Washington.
So when we bought my wife's truck, we had an Acura MDX that had transmission problems to the point that I just happened to manually shift because it wouldn't do it on its own. We're dropping Zoc off at his SAT test, and then we're going to swing by, or they're going to go drop me off at work, so I'm going to work that day. LFG was waiting for me to get there so that we could switch.
Nice.
And I said, well, we got like an hour and a half. Let's just stop and look at trucks. We test drive one. She hadn't driven a modern truck. So we get there and we're looking at showing us the really new ones.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, those aren't my price range. They're great and all, but this is kind of my price range. I was thinking, do you have anything in that? And I turned around, I was like, there's this one. It's a nice black 2010. So it's got a little more miles, but it doesn't have the newer engine thing, whatever it's called.
It's the
EcoBoost.
EcoBoost.
Right. And I was like, well, that's fine. So we hop in that, test drive it, and she loved it. She's like, this is really easy to drive.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can see everything
Yeah.
up here. So we decided, okay, we're going to buy it. So we had this MDX. And we're planning on selling it, so it wasn't cleaned out at all. So the poor guy, they gave us way more than it was worth for our trade-in.
Right.
The numbers, I was kind of playing a little bit of hardball. I wanted that truck, but
Right.
and I got them down a little bit on the payments with being more. And then we just had to scoop up all the stuff in the MDX and just throw it in the back of the pickup. So then later, my wife works at the high school, and she walks past the shop class and looks in, and her MDX is up on the lift. And they donated it to the high school. It's such a crappy car. Like, we can't resell this.
Nice tax write-off.
That's nice.
That's funny.
It was very funny.
Oh, I had a thought that went through my head, and now I can't remember it.
That's because I'm over verbose.
It's not there.
Because nobody wanted to talk to me at work today.
Good.
I want to talk to them.
Oh.
I was even trying to offer a suggestion because I heard someone say weld repair, and I was like, are you repairing weld or are you repairing with weld?
Yeah.
It's like we're repairing with weld. You should have said repaired welding then, not weld repair, because that sounds like we're repairing a weld. And I've had people confused before.
Oh, I've never had anyone confused.
It's just the way I said it is more clear.
I did get told that weld repair is different than build up, which is true.
Yes.
It's just the thing I was rolling over was a build up, and I didn't change that. But I did the next time.
I feel like half my job is convincing welders to weld.
Yeah.
No, seriously, you can weld. I promise.
I've spent way too much time with welders this week because there's some line in the instruction that says they have to make a sketch of the weld area, and we're doing all these little
What?
spot welds, and well, we weld on a different form than you.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, well, if we just like mapped it out and took a picture of, because we have all these little weld repair welds, that would be easy, but they don't have access to a camera, so we have to take the pictures for them. And so the swing shift guy was taking pictures, and he's not in my group, he's a shop guy, and we couldn't find the pictures, and the welder guy was freaking out, just like, oh my gosh, draw a sketch or something.
They were rubbing.
Yeah, well, I was
Like,
like,
you could copy and paste
last
it.
time we did this, we put a piece of transparent plastic and drew on it,
That works.
and it worked. But this is, they didn't want to do that. They're like, oh, we'll just take pictures. It sounded really easy.
Uh,
Yuck.
no,
So
I can't complain. My last project, we had the greatest welder I've ever dealt with ever. He was so easy to work with. It's great.
my pickup I got from Grandma, the fuel gauge didn't work.
Okay.
When I got it, and I took the fuel sending unit out, and the float was like in pieces. So I've just been driving it with no fuel gauge. So I bought a new one off this site, LMC Trucks, that has like replica parts.
Oh, right.
And it had the one
It's
I
just
needed.
like the original one you had. It comes in pieces.
No.
Oh, come on.
No, it came and it looked great, and it looked exactly like the old one. And so I took the old one out and put the new one in, and hooked the wires up to
It's
it.
a replica, though, right? So it doesn't float.
But then I go to hook the fuel line up to it, and it's got a 1/2-inch pipe thread, no, 3/8-inch pipe thread, and the new one's got 1/4-inch pipe thread. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
They need to get an adapter.
So I had to drive to the store, and I didn't know what size they were.
Right.
So I got my calipers out and measured, because I didn't want to bring, well, the one was installed and had been in gas, and the one I pulled out was in gas, and I was like, I don't want to bring this in my wife's car to the store. Yeah. So I got my calipers and measured.
The antenna's for. You just tie the baggie with it.
And I didn't even know what type of thread it was.
Right, because who knows?
So I go, and this helpful lady at the store.
That implies that most ladies aren't helpful. Send your hate mail to Jimmy.
Okay, this lady at the store was really helpful and helped us get.
That's better.
Because the adapter was female on both ends, and I had to go. I needed something that was
sexist.
female on one end and male on the other, so I also had to get a nipple.
Oh no!
Oh. Whoops.
I have two of those.
Are they 1/4-inch pipe thread?
No, I don't use it at all.
I rarely use mine, but it worked out. I had to bend the gas line a little bit.
This was before or after you ran out of gas?
Well, I did run out of gas a couple weeks ago. My wife came and rescued me.
You had to push the car off the road or something? Or do you coast? Or something?
I coasted. I
I
was coming down a hill towards a light that I have to turn left at, the last light on the way to my house, and it kind of sputtered, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it's running out of gas. But then when I got turned and was level again, it was fine. I got like 4 blocks down and it died. So I made a left turn and parked on
I
a
think
side
I might
street.
hold the record for the most coasted distance
Yeah.
with a round gas car.
Yeah,
That's what, 2.5 miles?
it was really far, which put us like
Halfway
halfway
between
between
both places.
where we came from and where we left.
Some of us didn't have shoes on.
Well,
Wow.
it was summer.
But we all decided to leave at the same time. We could have just let people at the van and then come back with them.
That's
As an adult,
true.
thinking about the logic of the situation.
Yeah.
Take the 2 people who have shoes, you walk quickly to one of the places.
Well, looking back, you should have just stopped where you ran out of gas and
That's
walked
right.
back to the.
But I coasted 2.5 miles.
Yeah, it is impressive.
Around several corners.
I know.
Across the
You had to
highway.
run some stop signs.
Over railroad tracks.
We could have pushed the van the other 2.5 miles. Around
That's
a
the problem. I
corner.
finally hit an uphill, slightly
Yeah.
uphill.
It is.
Uh-huh.
It was
That
awesome.
stops it quickly.
The things you do when you're young. Don't do those things.
Don't run out of
At
gas.
least not while I'm on your insurance, or you're on my insurance. But if you want to ever get insurance, put me on your insurance. That'd be okay.
I don't think so.
All right,
Let's do some nerdiculture.
let's do it.
Okay.
So I was confused because I said I was going to do nerd culture.
Oh,
but
well,
that's
I had
same
to
thing.
put him somewhere.
Okay.
I could talk about my D&D experiences.
All right. Why don't you just start?
Okay.
That's the one that got me started. Somehow.
Yeah. It was.
It
I
all
don't know.
began. I grew up as
Yeah.
a young, poor black boy. Oh,
I don't think that's how my story starts,
I'm
but
hoping not.
Yeah.
you don't think so?
Not sure.
yeah. But so I started D&D a couple months ago, and I
For
joined.
school.
Yeah, I joined the school club, and so I was playing as a.
The deist of D's.
No, I was a half-elf wizard, and yeah, so I played D&D for, it was like 2 hours a week, and it's been going on for a couple months, and I don't know, like our DM's not the best at preparing, like he has school, like a lot of school stuff.
I think
so.
I might be on the other end of the spectrum in regards to
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You
prepare a lot.
impressed my wife with your maps and
What
With
it
your
was done
cardboard
while we were
maps.
doing her character, I drew an entire map.
nice.
So yeah, we've been on a couple adventures at school, and our whole guild went to jail like 3 times. And so
Scott was.
it's school D&D, so a lot of things happen that's not planned. So yeah, but our our DM is very good at improv. So even though he like doesn't prepare at all, he's done like several sessions, which are like 2-hour long sessions.
Yeah, I can't get my
Like-
players to play that long.
Yeah,
Well, there's bedtimes involved.
Yes.
yeah. Like we have like a time period set apart. So yeah, but he like does it all improv, and it's a lot of fun. I've got this very cool spell called Enlarge/Reduce, and it's very fun to enlarge my half-orc or barbarian to like 12 feet tall, and it's very fun. But
I can't remember who exactly. Because my kids often get me involved in things that then take over portions of my life.
Like parenting.
I know Zach has been playing. He played in D&D high school, and his
Uh-huh.
friends come over and play all the time. And then you started playing in the
Yeah.
thing, and I think then I watched some YouTube videos.
Like hundreds of them.
At this point, more than that.
yeah,
And then Zach bought me the Dungeon Master Guide for my birthday.
Oh.
But I started with so the wife was interested in maybe drawing a fantasy map, so we went and bought like a sketch pad and I bought a new pencil, a nice P207, silver colored. No, we're not going to get any started on that though.
I was using my P205 today.
Nice, me too. Not yours, mine.
either red or brown.
I have a copper colored one.
I can't
that I got from
tell the
LG.
difference.
I need to get one of those.
What color are those? Is that red or is it brown?
Which one?
The Pentel reddish brown pencil.
Are you sure that's a Pentel?
I thought so.
Because their typical colors, you have there's a 0.3 that is kind of a maroon color.
Mm-hmm.
The 0.5 is typically black. The 0.7 is typically light blue, and then the 0.9, unless you have a special one, is yellow.
Oh, maybe
It's
mine's
a Skillcraft, probably.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I broke off the.
But I said we were going to get me started on my.
Oh,
my
sorry. I take the clips off because it interferes the way I hold
I
it.
used to always mark mine by scraping the S off of the Skillcraft, so it said Killcraft,
Oh.
and then I knew if someone stole my pen. I said Killcraft.
Smart.
I wonder if mine is maroon.
But yeah, LFG bought me the one I have now because he doesn't like. He says those are too small for his hands,
Oh.
the barrel, and so he was sad about me losing my gold P205 and replaced it. For me, gave me one, I guess. So back to D&D. So I drew a fantasy map. I used lots of YouTube videos to figure that out, and then I forayed into. No, I was watching one with it's called high school or D&D with high school kids, which was good because it's a teacher, I think in Chicago. It's his audiovisual class that's one of their final projects was to film D&D games. And it was good because these kids hadn't played D&D before.
Oh.
So the teacher had played for like 35 years. And so one of the videos that showed him making some stuff for their minis, town stuff. And then he mentioned another DM Scotty who makes out of cardboard and hot glue, makes really cool looking full painted D&D stuff. So I watched like almost all of his videos, and then I moved on to like a guy that has developed games and is a big gamer. I've been watching a lot of his videos because he's really good at talking to DMs about running games. And then I successfully convinced Paul, Jimmy, both their wives. I kind of forced my wife to make a character. Then LFG came over and made a character. And we've played 2 separate sessions, one with you and Paul and your wives, which I think went pretty well. I think we were having fun.
Yeah.
And I know some of the women were especially reticent, thinking what we got ourselves into, not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
I hammed up a goblin voice.
They liked that.
I told that to someone at work, like, okay, let's hear it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not DMing right now. You have to come join the game.
Yeah. So
then LFG was going to come over because he was out of town, so he couldn't participate in our one we did. And he wanted to play with us, so he played 4th edition, I think, and some earlier ones, which is going to be weird because some of the stuff is way different for 5e, which we'll play. But he came over and rolled his character, and T-Biddy came in and sat down, and I gave her her character sheet. I was like, okay, let's play. And then I got her to play.
Nice.
She played with LFG, and she was very violent. Her character was a very violent druid.
Well,
high elf. She was describing with hand motions what she wanted to do with her scimitar in relation to. And then
we can't describe them on the show.
No, she rolled it, and an attack was going to kill it, so I was describing one way. She's like, can I cut its head off? Sure, I can describe that. I was like, I'm trying to tone it down a little bit for you. And then, so the 3 goblins I sent after him, LFG couldn't hit anything. But he wasn't following the rules of our dice rolling. He was just rolling for. Well, he's rolling 5 and just taking the top 3. He wasn't re-rolling 1 during it. So his character's probably not as heroic as everyone else. Because we're going to roll our characters. But I'm very proud of my wife. She killed 2 goblins, decapitating one, splitting the other one's head straight down the middle.
Vertically.
Yes. And then, and then she captured the 3rd one with her. But I don't think she didn't use. She had Thorn Whip. I didn't think to have her use one of her cantrips, which is a 0 level spell. But she just knocked him down until he was at like 1, trying to crawl away, and then she went and wrestled him and tied him up.
Nice.
To a tree.
Yes, that works.
And then when LG said, "Shut that stupid goblin up," she like Alright, we stuck something in his mouth. So I described there's a dead body that had stopped them for the ambush.
Uh-huh.
So I described him going over, taking off one of the guy's socks, and shoving it in the mouth of the goblin. But I successfully weaved the story and coerced them into basically being where your party is. So we found you guys. And you guys can
Oh,
get together.
nice.
Successful DMing
Although Pold's out of town,
doesn't help.
so so he and his wife are both out of town visiting family,
Right.
and they're both high elves. So I thought about describing the scene where they're off in the bushes or something. Well, we'll just leave them there. We'll just continue on and we'll catch up.
Well, he was wanting to take a 4-hour meditation.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, it's not going to
That'll
take
work.
that long to
Meditation.
hide the wagon.
It sounds like they're in distress. No, let's just move on. Let's move on.
No, they're
But
meditating.
they actually, well, I'll tell you anyway. They sold their goblin that they captured for a bounty at this town.
Oh.
But it was good. In order to get them to try to go find basically where you guys are,
Uh-huh.
I had the goblin tell them that they were going to eat the human that they captured.
Oh,
So I thought they should probably go rescue the human.
cool.
But I was thinking about it. Your band is going to have a difficulty in some of the cities.
Because we don't have any
There's no humans. There's 3 high elves, 2 dragonborns, and a tiefling. No. A dragonborn and 2 tieflings.
Oh.
I was like, you guys might want to get some like monk hoods
Uh,
or full body armor.
not a lot of people like tieflings and dragonborns. So.
Although Familin, they don't seem to have a problem because that's where I had LFG and Timothy come from. So they'd already all their shock one.
Hmm.
Anyway, so play D&D. It's fun.
It is a lot of
It's
fun.
not what you think probably if you thought, oh, that's just it's
People
creative
playing
gameplay. Where,
pretend.
right.
Uh-huh. Anything can happen.
And if you are willing, I would say definitely DM. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work.
Oh, you weren't supposed to be looking at me when I didn't. Shook
And
my head.
like for instance, talking about going overboard, I'm building a treasure chest to keep all my stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, that's just practical.
Well, yeah, going over to Polt's house to play, it's going to be practical.
Very.
Anyway, maybe we'll put a picture of it up on the website.
Sure.
I'm going to stain it probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Decide. Oh no, I guess I'm going to stain first.
If
I want
you-
to decide that was the proper order. Stain the boards.
Get me a picture
Okay.
by Sunday. I can put it as an episode art.
It's on. There's one on Facebook. I can send you.
Oh.
You don't go on Facebook.
I can get it off Facebook. I get pictures off there for the show.
Let's see here.
I can get it off Facebook.
Okay.
It's easier than getting it off my phone.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I gotta say that's. Did you have fun? I want to hear your experience as a player.
Yeah,
First
it's
time.
kind of weird because I'm trying to pretend like I don't know the story because
Oh,
I've
that's right.
already listened to.
So, thanks, Ben and Brian. I actually used theirs as homework as a DM,
Oh,
and I knew that you guys would be doing it differently. But the very first part is very similar.
yeah.
Although you guys didn't get lost in the woods, have to talk to a deer at all.
Not
And I
yet.
actually ran my boys all through it before too.
Oh.
In fact, the very first arrow from the ambushing goblins killed my youngest son. And I told Larry, your brothers
Yeah.
could have like used their medicine and rolled for trying to stabilize you. He's like, what? It's like, and then they just took his body and threw it in the wagon. And
Yeah.
after they looted it,
Nice.
Yeah. We got extra gold.
and Zach's
Uh,
character is very aloof and doesn't trust very easily in that
Yeah.
game. It's very wants money. We spent like 45 minutes because
It
he
was
wanted
so
money
annoying.
to continue the. He's trying to get money from the other players to continue and to help.
I had already given my younger brother 15 gold pieces. So I'm like, no, I am not giving you money.
So it's funny.
Let's just keep on going and save these people.
My favorite story so far, I think, one of them,
Uh,
was I was playing with my boys, and they were inside. They were on top of this bridge. There's 2 goblins that are getting away. And my youngest son is thinking, I wonder if can I jump down there because then I could chase them. And I was like, well, it's 20 feet up, so you get like 1d6 damage per 10 feet. And while I'm telling that, he's trying to decide, and Zach's like, so I pat him on the shoulder. I think you can make it, and shove him off. And he's like, and I throw 4 good berries down after him. which each could raise a hit point
Oh.
each turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, level 1 players are very what's known in the D&D world as squishy. Means they're
Mhm.
easily killed. In fact, some characters are squishy a lot, so you try to put shields, like characters that have a lot of armor in front of them.
Yes. Like my character with 18
Right,
DC off the bat.
Your paladin.
Yes.
I put my line passes and then on level.
Uh-huh.
So I'm glad you had fun. My wife seemed to
I
maybe have
was
fun.
like the only one taking damage during our big battle, in which nobody could hit any enemies. Like you hit a tree, you missed and hit a tree.
In the future, I was having you guys miss all the time. They could have hit and just deflected off your armor.
Right.
But you guys were missing so poorly. I was having and
Except for Mrs. Jimmy, who threw a dart and hit a goblin in the eye with it.
it pulled
From
pulled
30
wife.
feet away.
What did we call her in the show?
Well, I know the nickname I made for her, but she doesn't like that.
Okay. So Pole's wife rolled a 1 on one of her attacks. So I was like, due to the heat of the day, your hand was sweaty, and you throw your sword off into the winds.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I got another one, right? It's like, yeah, you can switch hands and use that one. Then at the end, she's like, can I find my... I was like, I'll just let you guys go look and find them.
Right.
I was like, I could make you roll for it, like I did with Zach or did his arrows. He was shooting at a troll. Was it a troll or ogre? Anyways, he's shooting at a missing in a grassy field. He's like, so how many did I find? He's like, I'm going to roll your percentage dice. It's like, oh, you found 5 of your 6 arrows. Good job. Also had 2 of them break. Had him shoot the ogre in each of the legs, and the ogre, in a fit of rage, used his club to break the arrows off.
Yeah.
So that
Nice.
Which I then used my Thunder Breath, because I was a Dragonborn, to shock his body, and the current went throughout his body because he had metal. So,
it worked good. I thought it was already
Yeah.
creative. I should have given you an inspiration
Great.
point. In fact, put one on your sheet.
okay. I'll have to figure out what those actually do.
The inspiration point allows you at any point in the game to roll with advantage.
I see.
And I was also
That's
doing
nice.
on a critical hit, which is rolling a 20. Advantage means you get to roll your attack dice twice and take the higher number.
Oh.
Now, if you roll a
Disadvantage is the same
20, what I
Twice.
didn't do and I should have done, you should get to roll your damage twice.
And take the higher.
No, you take all of it.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
usually it's just crit and you just double what you get.
you can do that, but I'm going to have to roll for it.
Yeah. In some situations, rolling twice would actually
See,
be
this
better.
is the nice thing, because I know you like to follow rules, and it's actually really helpful in this game to have your phone with you so you can look up stuff on the
Yeah,
fly.
that's what I was doing.
Because some DMs will be like, well, how does this work? And they're like, I don't know, what's your spell? How does it work? And you should come knowing how all your stuff works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got enough brand new people, and I'm kind of brand new, that I actually made a cheat sheet that has all your like AC, armor class and everything listed on it, so I can.
Well, I
Yeah.
started putting notes on my sheet,
That's good.
like next to the
But
spells.
the nice thing about being a dungeon master is at any point you can say, well, we're playing it the way
Yeah,
I have total control of the game.
that's what a DM is.
And I'm going to take the starter quest that we're doing now, which should get you guys level 5. I'm just going to plop that in my world I'm making.
Okay.
So at some point you guys will discover. You'll eventually learn history. I'm going to take you guys' backstories you provided and weave them into the story.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I was,
We've got to keep playing for that to happen.
but I'm trying to DM a game, and I kind of wanted to go into the history of my world, and I was like, I don't really want to describe everything, so I'm just gonna like hand my players like a book of the history, and so it's just gonna be like maybe a 3-page book that they'll have to read, either on their own or out loud. So that's kind of like what I've decided to do with the history.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like having people roll for history. How much do you know?
Yeah.
Or like, I was playing with. Who was I playing with? Oh, I think it was LG when we were playing with them. They rolled to see if the horses were the same. No, that was in your guys' one.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're about the same color, you think?
I wanted to see if they were the horses somebody had been
But,
using. They look about the same color.
It could be.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, we had some bad rolls.
Yeah, it's funny. I really enjoyed it. But
Are-
learning how to adjust creature, I was watching videos today, how to adjust creature characteristics so we can.
Mhm.
I'm starting to. I think Matt Colville is a guy I've been listening to recently, and he likes to throw things at characters to make them feel like they're vulnerable.
Oh.
And sometimes his players die.
It happens.
And it sounds like some DMs, if your character dies, you hand them your character sheet, and they rip it in half.
Oh.
So that's a possibility, just so you know.
They can also take
I'll make
the
copies.
character sheet and
But he does.
Yeah.
He rolls his differently, where you roll for stats in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and he has you start at the very first one and roll,
uh,
and you take. I think he has you roll 4 and take the top 3.
Okay.
And then when you get done, if you look back and your character doesn't have 2 stats or at least a 15, he calls that character illegal, and then you start over.
Oh. Okay.
But then what that does is certain characters depend on certain stats being higher.
Yeah.
It kind of forces people into not playing
what they
what
wanted.
they want, but stretch them a little bit so they play what they rolled.
Gotcha.
So you might end up a wizard when you wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's nerdiculture.
All right. So for Technergy, I didn't know this, but there's this article I read on Wired that says that dementia is like the world's fifth biggest killer,
Really?
but
Oh.
funding for research into it is shockingly low
That was loud.
compared to other leading causes of death.
Well, there's some interesting things that cause that. Like a certain woman celebrity, I'm not going to mention by name, coming out and saying that she thought in 5 years up to 20% of the population would have AIDS. Which, if you look at comparative funding for research, compared to the people that die of the disease, AIDS is way overfunded for. I mean, you should be maybe spending more on cancer that kills more people, or dementia.
Yeah,
or,
well, cancer is the number one most researched because there's so many types of it,
Right.
and it's really prevalent, and it attacks people at all ages. So dementia's thing is it typically attacks old people, and so it's not as visible.
things like AIDS, you can pretty much eliminate with education.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and AIDS now is to the point where having it doesn't actually reduce your life
So
expectancy.
that's from the amount of money they got
Right.
put towards it. But if you take that money and we funnel it to other places, we could have ones that are like cancer that you never know who's going to get struck by cancer.
Yeah. So for dementia, basically what happens is proteins build up in between your neurons, and they inhibit those neurons from firing correctly, and that eventually leads to cell death, and it especially attacks like memory recall, and it attacks the most recent memories first.
See, I hadn't thought about that. That eventually, what's causing the outward symptoms of personality and memory loss eventually leads to your brain not being able to control your body, right?
Yes.
And that's what kills you. That's rough.
So I had a coworker whose mother recently died. She had dementia. She died from cancer, which they didn't know she had until a few weeks before she died. But she lived with him the last couple of years of her life, and it was really hard on him to be her caregiver because she didn't know what was going on a lot of the time, and she would ask the same question like 100 times an hour sometimes, like maybe 50 times an hour, but or she would couldn't figure out why her car wasn't there, and it's like, well, we got rid of your car because you can't drive. She's like, well, I could drive, and they're like, okay, well, let's go in the car and you tell me how to get to the store from our house. And she obviously couldn't, but she didn't realize that she was that debilitating, and so it's really stressful on both the caregiver and the person with dementia
Yeah.
because, like, some people don't realize that their spouse is dead, and every day they learn it like it's new, and so it's really hard on them emotionally. The author of this article on Wired, their grandmother went through this, and it was the same thing. The last 2 years were really rough, and they realized that she was having a problem when she got lost going 50 meters from the bus stop to the house. It's like, okay, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
But there's no medical intervention once it happens that can reverse it. I mean, it's always going to get worse over time.
Right.
So something that was kind of cool that they've done in Europe recently is they will build a community for people with dementia that the community is built, and they can even have like their house so it's familiar to them, but everything like the cars, the clothes, the buildings look like it's from like 40 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
Because they've lost all their more recent memories, but so they remember stuff from when they were younger. And there's also caregivers that are there, either live there or commute there for work to take care of them because they're all elderly, and a lot of them have other health issues. But this helps them cope with the mental part of not being able to remember, like, why don't I have a car all of a sudden? Or, like, this author was saying their grandma lived with them, but she was always bugging them, like, I gotta go home. I'm gonna go to the bus stop. And they're like, you live here. And it was like confusing to her because in her mind she didn't
live there. Yeah.
She didn't live there, and she always had this urge like she needed to go home.
Yeah.
So you could build a home in this community that looked like their home, so then they feel comfortable there, and it just makes their care easier, and then they're concentrated, so it takes fewer caregivers to help them. So the next step, the problem with this is it's really expensive.
Right, you're talking physical infrastructure.
Yeah, you're moving them to a community, so they might be further from family, and there's all these caregivers, and you have to build these custom houses, and outfit everything to look like it's 40 years old all the time. So this new study is looking at using virtual reality to help people with dementia. So basically their caregiver will have a tablet where they can kind of control the virtual experience, and the person that has dementia, while they're in there, they can look around and move somewhat freely in the environment. They can make the environment look like anything they want, and they can program in situations like from their youth that they remember so that they can relive them and see them, and that kind of calms them down so that they have more lucidity overall, and it's less intensive on the caregiver because they're just interacting with them through a tablet.
You seen that Black Mirror episode where people that are older and maybe disabled? They put them in a virtual reality world where they can travel back to whatever decade they want.
Right. And they all kind of live together in this world, and they're kind of like trying it out, and if they
they can move there permanently.
Right, they basically move their consciousness there when their body dies.
That's right.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's similar, I mean, but it's kind of cool. So you don't have to move them to a village and build this custom house. You can keep them nearby their family or even in their own home, and they can spend a couple hours a day in this virtual world that is designed to help their mind cope with the degeneration and all that.
So it's good, especially as cheap as virtual reality is getting.
Right, they were saying you can most top-end cell phones can now power some of these headsets.
Yeah, I got my kids some that they each got some for Christmas, and you just put your cell phone in the thing,
right,
and it splits the screen in half with
the
software. And I got dizzy. I was playing a game where you're in space shooting enemy ships. So you're turning around and looking every time you.
So do you have a controller
No, that one
No.
you're just shooting all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you
So
just
just
Constant
point.
shooting.
Oh, huh.
And then it's funny, you're following this way, and all of a sudden you're like,
I can't look
I
that
can't
high.
I can't shake it.
Virtual reality is cool, and
It is.
It makes me a little motion sick.
it's getting
Uh-huh.
well, and that's the thing. Is like there's still a long ways for it to go, and it's really cool right now.
Yeah, even with those like omnidirectional treadmills they have
Yeah.
that are coming out.
Those are cool.
Yeah, I could see most houses
Pretty sick.
having one of those in 15, 20 years.
So it'd be really cool if you could figure out how to get a bunch of them, like in a bigger room, so you can have more people in there,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
a holodeck.
Yeah, and the actual treadmill can move around, so you can
Well,
move
you'd have to
relative
have-
to each other.
Yeah, you'd have to have them small enough that you couldn't be that close together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if you had good enough headsets so they only heard each other through it,
Uh-huh.
then it wouldn't matter your
Right.
orientation. That would be cool.
Yeah, you can each have your own treadmill. I
Yeah.
guess.
And you wouldn't even have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
That's the future.
Future!
The future is now.
I'm less scared about that in the future with robotic bees,
Oh,
especially related
there's
to MRI machines.
already.
I know they're already doing it. What's funny is I found out a lot of the stuff that they talk about in Black Mirror is not showing the future. It's showing
Right.
this is technology we have now. This is how it
Right.
can be
Uh-huh.
misused.
This is what could happen with current tech in a few
Like
years.
I was reading the one about your social rating, how
Yeah.
it affects the way you live. China's doing that.
Yeah.
With their person or their
Wow.
population.
Right.
Well, if you do a certain number of things that are bad socially,
Yeah.
you can get like decreased vacation time, or you can't ride this train because this is for people with certain
For happy people.
right
Wow.
people that agree with the regime.
I should implement that in my home.
I'm all kinds of
It's
I'm
like,
all about totalitarianism.
Sorry,
when it
your
comes to my
social
home.
rating's too low to have dessert, so you have to go to your room while the rest of us have ice cream.
Oh, and if it's getting really low, you have to sit there and watch us eat it.
that's
That's
what
even
Mr.
worse.
Paul does with his, or has done with his kids before.
That's awesome.
All right, so that's Technergy.
Awesome. So we don't really have news.
Yeah,
Because
we're
I
just
did-
gonna go into consumption.
Sweet. So, Yipsan.
Yep.
Yeah,
Son.
so
Yipsan, I guess.
recently, like, I started watching Sword Art Online for, like, the 12th time, and
The first season.
You know they have
Yeah.
other shows.
I tried to watch the second
Yeah.
season, but it's so disconnected from the first one. I was like,
it
what's
is.
happening?
It's a lot more confusing,
Oh, you
and
tried? You haven't watched it 12 times. You
I-
tried
No,
to
the
No,
second
watch it?
season. He's talking the second season.
Oh.
I've
Confusing.
actually seen both of them. Like, I've seen the first season probably, like, 12
And the
times.
first
and
season
then-
Oh.
is set up perfectly. It
Yeah.
explains everything perfect, and it's great.
and
I like it.
second one, it kind of, like, piggybacks on the first one, and so it's a little confusing, but, like, it's a good concept where basically they have technology that intercepts the brain waves of your mind, and so you just lay down and your body just kind of like sleeps while you're in a video game, and basically like 10,000 people get trapped in this MMORPG,
Oh.
and so yeah, the government doesn't really know what to do, so they live in there for 2 years, and they like get actually kind of close to beating the game when like things go down, and the main character, he figures out the identity of the creator of the game.
Yeah,
and
the creators basically
Yeah.
trapped them in there and said, if you die in the game, you die
Yeah.
in real life. Your body dies.
Well,
like sends
Right.
waves and fries your brain.
So it's good.
Uh-huh.
Check. I think.
It
Yeah.
is good.
I've been thinking about checking it out because I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Is it dubbed?
it is dubbed. It's
So you don't have to read
so-
subtitles.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Have
there's
you ever put that
Yeah.
one that had subtitles and dubbed at the same time?
Yeah.
They don't
weird.
match.
yeah, they don't match.
watched,
because yeah.
The freaking
Attack on Titan.
No.
No.
What's the one where they can't die? They have the ghost, the black ghost.
Oh yeah. What was that one called?
I don't know.
Oh, what is that called?
It's really good.
You have your own like ghost that.
Yeah. Can't remember what it's called, but
anyway,
that
yeah.
one I watched. it in English with subtitles.
Yeah,
And it's kind of interesting to see the
The variations,
differences.
yeah.
yeah, because the dubbed, like, they have to sync it to the lips,
Right.
but the subtitles, it's just like the direct,
With modern-
direct translation.
I don't know. With modern technology, you think they can just get the characters' lips to sync up with whatever track you put on it?
Everything's drawn, or
What's that
most
right there?
stuff is drawn.
Aji.
Yeah,
Aji.
Yeah, that's the
Aji.
one I heard about from Matthew,
Oh.
I think. From
I heard of that.
the,
Have you not watched it? You should watch
No.
it.
It's
I
really
should.
good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it
Matthew
kind of,
McDonough, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I find it kind of hard to watch anime lately because I like playing a game while watching it.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't do
Read
that with subbed anime, which, like, I can't watch dubbed anime anymore. Like, it sounds weird for me. So, I have to sit down
Why,
to
just because
watch
they have the
anime.
same 5 American-speaking voice actors do all of the shows?
Yeah, like, it's like, isn't that Naruto?
It's like I've heard that in South America, like Jar Jar has a very deep, like resonant voice.
Yeah,
And people there don't mind him as a character.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Mr. Pold has a
Or
friend
French.
that's wife's from Argentina, and they were down there when it came out. He's like,
Oh,
why does everybody hate Jar Jar? Oh, I
It's
watched it
the
in English
annoying-
and found out.
No, they hate him
Yes.
because they can sense the evilness in the Sith Lord.
Mm.
yeah.
And Spanish-speaking people can't sense that?
No,
Oh, okay.
they watch too much telenovela.
Oh, yeah, that does.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, what else are you watching?
I also started the first half of DC Legends of Tomorrow. I really like that series. I'm on the 3rd season, actually. I
Is it-
started the first half of that
Is
season.
it
But,
okay? Is second and third season better than season 1? I can't make it past season
Yeah.
1.
I finished season 1, but I was like, I'm not going to watch any more of this because it was.
That guy's right there. Just shoot him.
yeah.
It's like, well, they can't kill him without this certain set of circumstances.
Oh,
Like,
right.
you
Yeah.
can catch him though.
Yeah, you
Like,
can capture him.
he's
Uh-huh.
unconscious,
Put him in jail.
and they're like, oh, well, we
There-
can't kill him, so we just have to let him go.
There's a lot of, like,
Fill in
rules they have
country
to
and stick him in
abide
the
with
ocean.
time, and it's confusing at times.
The guy that is from Doctor Who in this show is a time master or something that's
Yeah.
synonymous with Time Lord.
Anyway,
Yeah.
It was dumb. I'm glad you like it.
It's interesting how they introduce new timelines each episode.
well, that's probably why I didn't
It's-
like it. I don't like time travel.
Oh, I don't mind it, but this just seemed dumb. It's like,
Yeah.
you can travel in time, so can't you go back and get him before he became
I
immortal?
was talking to LFG about. He was reading a book where they use short. They can only jump in time short segments, but they're using the planet's movement in conjunction with time travel. Because if you're at one fixed location and then you time travel, all of a sudden you might not be on the planet anymore.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
book I read that they had to compensate for that. It was called
The Heisenberg compensator.
Lightning. Because when somebody time traveled, it caused lightning. It was a
That's
Dean
Terminator.
Koontz novel. But it was, yeah, it was a good book.
Huh.
I finished a book called Alone. It's the 3rd book in the Generations trilogy by Scott Sigler.
Oh, I've only finished the first one.
It's good.
I need to listen to the
The
second.
second one, probably my least favorite, but it was still pretty good. The 3rd one is awesome.
Maybe I'll use. I have enough money to buy a book probably on my Google rewards.
Yeah.
I should look to sell how much Google rewards I've earned since I started doing it.
So they have the first 2 books in the series in the local library. My daughter read them.
Really?
But they don't have the 3rd one yet, so I was thinking about buying it for her so she can read it.
Cool. So she likes them?
Yeah. Yeah. The main character is a teenage girl, and they're basically on a ship that's been traveling for 1,200 years to get to this planet. But when the main characters wake up on this ship, they have no memory. All they know is that it's their 12th birthday, but all of them think that. And So a lot of it is trying to figure out what's going on and where they are.
Mhm.
In fact, they don't even know they're on a ship for most of the first book.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
The fact that your daughter's reading Scott Sigler is interesting.
Yeah, but this is
I know.
his YA books.
I know.
She doesn't read
Mhm.
like Infected trilogy.
Like his Galactic Football one.
Yeah, my son has.
You gotta make sure you get the right version.
Yeah, you have to get the YA version. It's only the first book that had a non-YA
Right.
version. Then he decided to.
Yeah, listening to that with. I don't know if I listened with you. It seemed
Every
like
now and then.
every time Zoc and he had a friend who lived close by, and I had to drive him to a ferry so I could go over there. It's a good 45, 50 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd listen to an episode on the way there, and I think we listened to one on vacation.
Mm.
But yeah, I haven't subjected my family to Infected yet.
We listened to that on a road
But
trip.
we did.
That
We got
was
to
good.
see Master Zed help him move, I think, or graduate.
Yeah, one of those.
Both.
I don't remember. But, yeah, I like Scott Sigler.
Me too.
My wife and I finished Person of Interest Season 2.
Very nice.
So if you haven't heard of it, it's these two guys. One of them's a computer guy, and the other guy is like an ex-military guy.
Here, guys from Lost.
Yeah, it's Linus. Basically, this computer is analyzing cameras and phones and computers, and it can tell if somebody is going to commit a murder. But the only way it can communicate is it calls a payphone when the computer guy is walking down the street and gives him just like some random words, and he converts those words into a social security number, and they don't know if the number is of the victim or the perpetrator, and so they have to like go and figure out the story about why this person is either going
It's
to
a
be
person
killed
of interest.
or going to kill someone, so they have to stop these murders. And they have like some friends on the police force that they get involved, and so there's some cool storylines in the second season about those guys.
It's cool.
But I like it. We're going to continue on with season 3. There's 5 seasons on Netflix. And the next movie we watched, DVD also watched it. It's called Dark, D-A-R-C. It's a
It was way
Netflix
better
original.
than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I wasn't
I
expecting
thought it was like
much.
going to be a B-rated
Yeah.
movie or B movie. Where
It was really good. The only thing is, viewer discretion.
you gotta
A
skip
lot
some
of it
parts.
takes place in brothels and strip clubs, so there is some nudity, and there's a lot of violence. But
Lots of
basically,
violence.
this guy that grew up around the Yakuza, his mom was like a prostitute that worked for them, and they ended up killing her in front of him. But later in life, this cop's daughter gets kidnapped by them, and so he gets that guy out of jail so that he can go and find his
Infiltrate.
daughter,
Yeah.
infiltrate the group, and he wreaks havoc. It's pretty good. I recommend it if you don't mind the graphicness.
So, last Sunday while I was avoiding the salesman that my wife had lured to our abode, I went over to Master Pulls. This is before our D&D game.
Mr. Pold.
Mr. Pulls.
Polt.
I gave him an upgrade.
Yeah.
He's now the master.
So I showed up before everyone else. And they were maybe 20 minutes into Final Countdown, which is a movie about the USS Nimitz, which is an aircraft carrier traveling back from the 80s back to right before World War II, or right before Pearl Harbor, basically,
Right.
with their full complement of fighter planes and everything. It's really good. I liked it a lot. It has Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
And you can see both Emilio Estevez and what's his name?
Charlie
Sheen a
Yeah.
lot of their dad. And if you look at those two, you're like, those two can't be brothers. If they look at their dad, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see it. It was really good. And it was funny watching, yeah, it was very interesting. So
Yeah,
check
I've seen
that out.
It's
And
on
then,
Netflix, right?
no, I think they got it through the discs of Netflix.
Oh. Well, I've
It might
seen
not
it.
be- Well, sometimes it goes on and off and being
Yeah,
available.
okay.
I've seen it once.
Gotcha.
So my
yeah, it
youngest
wouldn't make
son,
sense for them to get it on the disc if it was on the streaming.
my youngest son in his football game or team last year, his nickname was Colin McLeod of the Clan McLeod,
Uh-huh.
one of the line coaches, the main line coach. And he'd never seen Highlander, my
Oh.
son. So he's always been asking me to watch it. So we finally watched it together.
Oh.
He's having a bad time, so I was like, "Come watch Highlander with me." So that's really good for him to watch. He fell asleep through the middle part. But,
It's about a Scottish Highlander, and
he's
he's
invincible.
immortal
Or immortal, there you go.
unless
Not
another
invincible.
immortal cuts his head off,
Right.
and he has to cut their heads
And
off.
as time goes by, there's something called the quickening, where everyone kind of gets drawn to the same place to hash it out to there could be only one.
There can be
Oh.
only one.
Which they have lots of sequels, but it's not set up to have sequels.
Right.
That's weird.
The way they ended it has a whole TV show spin-off. That is
Yeah.
like, what?
Highlander, the series. What?
Yeah, it's very good. I like that one too. It's good.
I haven't seen that in a long time. Where'd you
I-
watch that?
It might be on Netflix.
Ooh.
I think I've seen it on Netflix, but I haven't
Oh
seen it.
my.
It's good. You should watch it. It's very 90s.
Yeah.
And I watched a show called Anon, and it was set in the future where everyone has a built-in, I don't know, computer chips or something. So you have a virtual display in front of you that, like, as you walk past somebody on the street, it shows you their name and like a short bio.
So augmented reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Where nothing is secret, basically. And there's a police officer. Basically, what he does is everything goes into this big network, and the police force, basically the government, has access to everyone's feed. So if there's a crime, he goes back and watches from the criminal's point of view, from the victim's point of view, and kind of adjudicates it.
Huh, that's cool.
Wow.
Well, he walks past this lady that says "error unknown," and that's all it says as he walks past her. And then something starts happening where people are getting killed, and the killer is making it so they're seeing from the killer's perspective. So he gets in their house, and all of a sudden the person's like disoriented because they're seeing from someone else's perspective.
Oh.
And the killer walks up to them, and the last thing they see looks like they're shooting themselves in the head.
Huh.
I was like, well, flash out at least. You kind of understand
Right.
what's happening. But yeah,
Wow.
it was probably really disorienting.
Yeah.
And this cop kind of gets on her trail, and she starts messing with his life by introducing. Well, you can't trust his eyes anymore.
So is this a series?
I think it's a movie. It's
Okay.
on Netflix, I think. Netflix original, maybe.
I've seen it on there, and I read the description.
At
just
one
the
point,
other
he's
day.
like sitting in his car, and he's looking both ways, and there's no cars coming at all. All the streets are empty, and he like pulls out and gets hit by a car, and then he wakes up and there's cars everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
That's crazy.
See,
Okay.
Oh, countdown. Oh, so I watched over 2 nights The Karate Kid,
Karate.
which the guy I work with, someone was talking about this, which is funny. He's like pronounced it karate, or however we're supposed to pronounce it.
Karate.
Because he's, I think, half Japanese. But anyways, so I stood up and said, well, maybe in Japan that's what it's called. That's what the martial arts called. But this movie's called Karate Kid. It's really good. I forget how good of a movie that is every time until I watch it. Although it's really funny. There's the final fight scene. There's a song that starts, "History repeats itself." You're like, what? This is the first one. What? This is repeating itself. It's because that song was made for a different movie. There was a sequel, but they ended up not making the movie, so they used it because it's cheaper for this movie.
Karate. Karate.
That's the Americanized version.
Yeah.
Sure.
In Japanese, te is pronounced te,
Karate.
so it's karate.
Which means empty hand.
It wasn't used
Yeah.
at all until the 1950s.
Yep.
Translate to
Azerbaijani.
Japanese.
Thai.
oh, I can't do alphabets.
Irish.
J. Or we can do Javanese.
Javanese? Is that from Java, I guess?
Oh, it doesn't let me pronounce
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Wah, wah, wah. You could probably get it on your phone.
Pronunciation.
We'll see if it'll do it.
But it makes me wonder back in the 80s how many kids were finding older Japanese gentlemen and trying to befriend them so they could get a free car.
That was the moral of the story.
But I can't get over how Ralph Macchio, he's a goofy
Karate.
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 That's close enough.
Anyways, yeah, he's a weird looking dude.
Karate.
He's like, for his height, his shoulders are too narrow. He's got freakishly weird long legs, but it's not helped by the 80s style.
Yeah, with the high pants.
High pants and long legs. Like, what the?
It's like
Anyway.
no torso.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Netflix show coming out that's basically from the point of view of Johnny,
Yeah.
who's the guy he's fighting? And Ralph Macchio's in it. He like owns a car dealership, and he's kind of being mean to Johnny in it.
Nice.
Johnny reprises his role or opens up the Cobra Kai dojo
Oh.
to help some kids that are getting bullied.
Hmm.
I think is what it looks like. But I think it's on the YouTube paid channel. So
YouTube Red.
yeah.
I want to get YouTube Red, but don't have the money.
Yeah.
If it was a different color, maybe.
Maybe blue.
Could be environmentally friendly, could be YouTube green.
Yeah.
It's not easy being green. It's not easy being not green anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, and last but not least, so after I watched that, I was like, oh, I've got an hour before I probably let you go to bed. What can I find? So, browsing through Amazon, I found a show called The Color of Magic. It's got Sean Austin in it, otherwise known as Frodo's friend,
Yeah, Samwise Gamgee.
Samwise Gamgee, or the guy from the nerdy love interest in what's that show with the dark or the Underdark or whatever. Yeah, that one.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. But in this, it's set in like there's like a wizard, so it's like it's on a disc world that is on top of 4 giant elephants that are riding a spacefaring flying turtle.
Okay.
It's a disc world, so there's an edge to it, and there's a center.
Just like Earth.
And this, the first tourist on this world is Sean Austin, who plays a tourist. That it's really funny. He shows up on the ship to this land, and they're like, and the world's like, and this guy wants to just come look at our stuff. Apparently.
Okay.
It's very amusing. He has a chest that's full of gold because the land he's from, gold's like very common. But everyone's like freaking out over it. But the chest is magical. It's got like little feet, so it follows him around and like protects him. It's funny. It's from the 90s, I think, or maybe 2000s.
Really? Color of Magic.
The Color of Magic. Look it up.
Magic.
All right.
It's gonna be funny. The whole first season's on Amazon Prime.
Huh.
It's enjoyable. He's wearing like a flower print shirt for tourist. And he
So
has
it's based on a Terry Pratchett
Yeah.
novel.
it's got what's his name in it? Well, this plays a bad guy. He played Richelieu in that Three Musketeers movie.
Oh, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry's in it. He plays an evil wizard.
Nice.
That's some wizard that gets
He's wearing a flower print Hawaiian shirt.
with like
It's
a
amazing.
floppy brimmed hat
Nice.
and shorts. It's very amusing. It's funny. That guy's also very funny in it. He's a business guy. Anyway, I can't wait to watch more of it.
That looks good.
I actually went to bed, started getting ready for bed at like 9:30 yesterday.
Weird.
I was just really tired, and I knew because I was really enjoying the show, and then the last 15 minutes I was like, I couldn't stay awake just because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I think it's because 2 nights in a row, my wife woke me up at 2:30 to go take care of the dog.
Oh.
And then I got up at both times. Zoc was up and was putting him out. I was like,
Could have been done that a little sooner.
I almost spoke in a goblin voice.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
Now I want to set up like an online like Skype one with Ben and Brian. Have them be guest characters in the D&D game. But first we have to find a table big enough to play at.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone of us have a big enough table. We have to reduce one of our or two of our folding tables in combination with another one.
Uh,
Anyway.
What we should do is arrange a time for Ben and Brian to come out here on vacation.
Yes!
And then we could just get together and do fun
That
stuff.
would be awesome.
And maybe play a game or two of Dungeons and Dragons.
That would be great. We'd have to fight Ben over who gets to be DM. We could both do it.
You've said you wanted to play it when you're not the DM.
That's true. That'd be interesting to see it from the other
We
side.
would have a guest DM, obviously, if he came all the way from Arkansas.
That's true. I guess we'd let him do it.
So Ben, Brian, make some travel plans. Let us know when you're thinking so that we can arrange.
Yeah, I got extra rooms.
Yeah.
I'll have another one after my son leaves this summer.
Oh yeah. You could have one for each
That's
person.
going to be our exercise room.
You can bring trying to think. Mrs. Panther? Is that what Ben calls or is his wife?
I don't remember. I'm not going to assume to call somebody else's wife.
I almost called her OT, but that's Andrew's wife,
Oh.
girlfriend from Matt and Andrew.
Yeah, don't get those mixed up.
Yeah.
I'll get some hurt feelings.
Nope.
Right, that's consumption. We didn't cough it or anything.
Good.
Here, instead we'll do a sound effect. There we
You
go.
guys have any nerd cred?
I've been DMing, so I've got all kinds of
Oh yeah, that's enough.
Wednesday for school, I had to dress up as a.
Whoa,
Ooh.
calm down. Okay, you need to cut back on caffeine.
What are you talking about?
Getting a little jittery there.
I just
But-
banged the mic.
Sure.
Now it's not pointing the right way.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
But yeah, so for history, I was doing a
Did it
presentation.
repeat itself? History repeats itself.
I don't know. But
Every day.
yes, exactly. But
Just grab school.
yeah, at school for you repeats itself. But I was doing a presentation on the art.
See, he's just like
of-
Paul. He can just pick up right where he left off.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you interrupt him.
It's a very good skill. But I was doing a presentation.
Well,
He
mine,
responds better than Paul does.
Yeah. But it was a presentation.
he's now said presentation 7 times.
Let's go on.
Get on with it!
So I was presenting.
On second thought, this is a silly show.
But it was the 70s art styles, and so I did the movies of the 70s and video games,
Ooh,
The
which
70s, like Pong.
yes, I did the
And Pong.
arcade.
Pong 2.
Yeah.
Return of Pong.
Wasn't one called like Missile Command? It's like the very first one.
Pong in New York.
There was a lot of arcade games, so I tied it in very well, and I got to dress up as I tied the video games into history very well, and so
You like to dress up, don't you?
yeah, I dressed up as a nerd, and I had my pocket protector,
Yes.
and
So dressed.
yeah, it
I
was
counted
great.
that. I gave him mine.
Oh.
One of mine.
I borrowed
It was
my
very
dad's
nice.
clothes so I could look like a nerd.
I actually had everything but the pocket protector and
Oh.
the glasses, so
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
but
that's cool.
it was
Did
Very
some LARPing at school.
Well,
Well,
you say, Jimmy.
my 6-year-old son came out in pajamas, and I almost made him go change them because the top was Hulk, the bottom was Superman.
Super Hulk.
I was like,
Super Hulk.
seriously, dude? He's like, yep.
Wow.
I was like, normal people probably wouldn't even care or notice that those were incompatible.
They are.
That's probably true. So on top of my DMing, I do have another one. So I was looking for a new background picture, and I found a cool picture of a castle, like on a rocky outcropping, with a really well-designed bridge out to it. So it goes out, and then the drawbridge comes from the side.
Okay.
And then there's like the spire, so you couldn't get a ram to
Oh,
ram the gate.
was it inspiring?
It was, but I've decided I'm going to model it in 3D. So I
Of
started
course you are.
doing that much today.
Is
Which
it
I'm
a real
using
castle?
No,
Oh.
it's a drawing. So
It's a drawing.
I'm using my small scale on my screen. With my
Don't
calculator
let
to
your
solve.
coworkers see you do that.
Oh, it's a flat
my.
panel. That's why you make flat panels.
Yeah. Well, actually,
With
the
touch
whole
screens.
thing's flat, so
Right.
you can just call it a flat.
The screen.
Monitor.
And no one uses CRTs anymore.
A flat.
It's called a screen.
Just call it flat.
That's an apartment, though, in
We're
England.
not British.
We're partial British.
We're descendant of people that may or may not have been British,
That they got kicked out or decided to leave.
and
Yeah.
they got
And
kicked
or-
out and or left.
Yeah, so that's fun.
So we had a couple of new likes on our website.
Cool.
These are other bloggers.
Can you pronounce that one?
Yet another movie critic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even see that there was words in there.
Yatana
And-
via
The
critic
previous syllables was wrong syllable.
And- Bell.
Ooh,
Bell.
ask her how the beast is. I guess I can ask her. Bill, how's the beast?
Oh, he's fine.
Can we be your guest? No. Be my guest.
Our.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's done.
If you want to
Yes.
contact us, send an email to engineerdyshow@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. An easy way to get there is to go to theengineerdyshow.com, and at the bottom of each episode is a link to Facebook and Twitter.
You can save the princess.
While you're there, you can listen to the shows. You can find back episodes. You can go to our T-shirt shop. There's 2 T-shirts in there right now. I need to put more on there.
We have a moron shirt?
It's got a picture of you.
Sweet. More on the back.
And
It's just a picture of my back.
the best thing you could do while you're there is click through one of our Amazon links
Oh, yeah.
to do your Amazon shopping. That supports the show, helps us get things like
Microphone.
pay for our website. But we bought these mic stands we use.
They're very nice.
They're fancy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Thank you for listening this week.